Hey guys, welcome back to You the Boss podcast. I'm your host, Pam. Today we're going to be talking about something that nobody glamorizes, but everybody goes through. And that's staying locked in when nothing seems to be happening. When the effort is there, the discipline is there, but the results are nowhere in sight. This is the phase where most people quit. And it's also the phase that separates the people who wish from the people who become. The silent season that nobody prepares you for. We live in a world that celebrates outcomes, not processes. You see the transformation, the success story, the after, the highlight reel, but nobody talks about the middle. That quiet, frustrating, invisible stretch where you're doing everything right and you're just not seeing progress. This is what I call the silent season. And the truth behind the season is that just because something isn't visible, it doesn't mean that nothing is happening. Growth is often underground before it ever shows up above the surface. Think about it. Roots grow before anything blooms. If you have ever planted anything, you know that you have to put the seed in, you got to water it every day, you got to the dirt and the fertilizer and the this and the that. And those roots grow before you can first see that first leaf. Strength before results is kind of how it goes. Identity shifts before outcomes change. But most people don't quit because it's hard. They quit because it's uncertain. They're not seeing it. I'll believe it when I see it kind of thing. And I feel passionate about this because when you have faith in something, it's not passive, it's a decision. So when the results are slow, your faith is what's going to carry you through. Your faith becomes your fuel. Not blind faith, but intentional faith. Faith is waking up and saying, I don't see it yet, but I trust what I'm building. And that's not always easy. Your mind is going to try to convince you that, well, what if it's not working? What if you're wasting your time? Maybe you should stop. That voice gets loud when there's no evidence to prove it wrong. But faith isn't about evidence. It's about commitment. It's choosing to stay aligned with your vision, even when you don't have proof yet. And it comes with practicing patience. Patience is a skill, not a personality trait. A lot of people think that patience is something that you either have or you don't. And that's not true. Patience is built, it's trained, it's strengthened. Every time you keep going without immediate results, you're developing emotional endurance. And here's the shift that changes everything. Stop measuring progress by outcomes. Start measuring it by consistency. Did you show up today? Did you follow through? Did you keep your word to yourself? That's progress. Because results are going to be delayed. They're always delayed. But effort compounds. There's this trap of comparing timelines. And I know that I've talked about this before. Comparison is the thief of joy on this podcast. And the comparing timelines trap is one of the fastest ways to lose focus. And it's by watching someone else win faster than you. You start thinking, well, why is it working for them and not me? What am I doing wrong? Am I behind? But you're not behind. You're on a different timeline. Different starting points, different challenges, different paths. Comparison will have you abandoning your process for someone else's highlight reel. And that can be very dangerous because staying locked in requires tunnel vision. Not ignorance, but discipline. You can't water your own goals while constantly staring at someone else's garden. That's just not how it works. The real flex is actually delayed gratification. We've conditioned to want things now. Fast results, quick wins, instant validation, Amazon deliver at 4 a.m., which I'm almost 1,000% sure that 99% of everything that you've ordered that you needed at 4 a.m. delivered by Amazon, you could have waited. The truth is, the things that come fast often don't last. Delayed gratification is what builds real discipline. It's choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term comfort. It's saying no to distractions, no to shortcuts, no to giving up just because it's taking longer than you expected. Because when you earn something slowly, you value it differently. You protect it, you respect it. You become the kind of person who can keep it. So, what's next? What do you do when you feel like nothing is working? We have to get practical here. If you're in that slow results phase right now, here are a few things to ground you. First, I want you to zoom out. Progress isn't always visible day by day, but it shows over time. Second, tighten up your routine. Consistency creates momentum even when motivation disappears. Third, track your actions, not just your outcomes. You need proof that you're showing up, not just proof that it's working. And fourth, protect your mindset. What you tell yourself in this phase matters more than you see. And this is where you become different. Anyone can stay committed when it's exciting, when it's working, when it's paying off, when you dropped a few pant sizes in the last 6 months, anyone can stay consistent then. But then you hit a plateau. And staying locked in when it's slow, that's where your identity is built. That's where discipline becomes who you are, not just what you do. And one day, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but one day the results will catch up to your effort. And when they do, it's not going to feel like luck. It's going to feel like alignment. So here are some tools to help you with trapping things when they're slow. Number one, progress tracking instead of outcome tracking. When results feel delayed, it's easy to think nothing is happening. Instead of only tracking big outcomes, track your daily actions. Examples of that are the days that you showed up, the workouts completed, the episodes that you've recorded, the pages written, hours that you spent focused. This builds confidence because you can see your consistency even before you see results. At the time of this recording, I have read 6 books this year. I have a goal to read 30 books this year. We're 6 months into the year. And the other day I was like, oh my goodness, I need to read faster. I don't know. I need to go to bed later. I need to wake up earlier. I need to figure something out. And then I saw my Kindle streak, which is like over 1,000 days straight, or maybe inching to like 1,500 days. And more specifically, this year alone, I've read over 3,000 pages over the course of those 6 books. And that made me feel so great because I was able to track the consistency of every day that I've picked up a book versus the amount of books that I've read. Number 2, the minimum standard method. Create a non-negotiable minimum you can stick to even on the hard days. So if that's reading 5 pages, walking 10 minutes, spend 15 minutes creating, post once a week consistently. The goal is to stay connected to the habit, not be perfect. Momentum matters more than intensity. Number 3, the delayed gratification practice. Train yourself to tolerate waiting and discomfort intentionally. Ways that you can practice this is maybe finish a task before checking social media, save money before impulse buying, complete your priorities before entertainment, sit with boredom instead of constantly distracting yourself. Small acts of discipline strengthen long-term patience. Number 4, future self-visualization. Spend a few minutes imagining the version of you who didn't quit. Ask yourself, how do they think? What habits got them there? What would they think? What would they thank you for today? This helps reconnect you to your purpose when motivation fades. 3 books that are practical for this topic are books that 2 of which I've mentioned on this podcast, and I've mentioned them week to week sometimes because there's so many different ways to process different books, and I try to give like a different reasoning behind my suggestion of each book. So this first one is Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's one of the best books for understanding consistency, systems, and long-term growth. It teaches how tiny repeated actions create massive results over time. Number 2, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It's a practical read about how small decisions compound into success or setbacks. It's great for people struggling with impatience during slow seasons. Grit, which is the third book, The Power of Passion and Perseverance by Angela Duckworth. It focuses on perseverance, resilience, and why long term consistency matters more than talent alone. If you're in a season where it feels slow, it's quiet, it's even frustrating, I want you to hear me when I say don't quit. You're not stuck. This is just a season of you being shaped. Stay locked in, stay consistent, and trust that what you're building is bigger than what you can see right now. I'll talk to you again next week.